Welcome to Find Your Clear Vision, a personal branding and mindset podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Guillot. I help high-performing leaders like you reignite the connection to your highest self and design your life and brand from the inside out. I'm a blend of bright colors and deep conversations, tarot cards and strategy decks, bluegrass, and Tribe Called Quest. If you're looking to bring your fullest expression to your life, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hi, friend. I am honored that you are spending time with me today. We are going to be deep diving into the inner mindset work it takes to use your contrasting emotions to actually figure out how you want to feel. So in episode 5, Stephanie Posey shared with us her experience in the Be Bright Mastermind during the winter and spring session. Before she joined the mastermind, she knew that there was more to explore in her personal and professional life because, like many of us, she was bored. She was in a rut. She noticed that she was disconnected from making choices around who she really was, and she didn't know how to get out of this rut. But I want to commend her. I want to honor her choice that she made in January. She started an at-home yoga practice, and she stopped drinking alcohol. And I love that because she knew she was craving a period of self-discovery, and the mastermind gave her the opportunity she said that she didn't know she needed, which actually resulted in dedicating time and space for herself outside of her business as a real estate lawyer and entrepreneur, outside of her kids and other responsibilities, time and space for herself. And she also found that exploring the inner mindset work of who she is becoming and the outer expression of that through personal branding for her and her business was ideal, like universal alignment moment. And bonus opportunity, she said that exploring what brings her joy and adventure in life actually led her to be a better friend to herself. Oh, and I just love that. That makes my heart go pitter patter. And when she's aligned to this mindset and this way of being, more opportunities arise. And that's why we are going to take a look at how to use contrasting feelings to figure out how you want to feel. Stephanie was feeling like she was in a rut and she was bored, and she used that to figure out how she wanted to feel. So the first obvious question here is, what is a contrasting feeling? Well, guess what? You've already got them. We're pros at these, actually. Have you ever noticed? I'm going to give you some examples and listen for yourself in these examples. See if you pop up. Have you ever lost your patience? Have you ever been so absorbed with the noise and the distraction around you that you literally have not caught your breath and your patience just flies out the window? Or have you ever noticed that you are being so busy without intention? So busy that you actually don't get anything done. My friend, guess what? Being busy without intention is a beautiful way to avoid your future. And I know that multi-passionate entrepreneurs and creatives, we often get flooded with so many ideas that it scatters our intention around. And that's where we get caught up in the moments of, oh my gosh, it's 6 p.m. Where did the day go? Another contrasting feeling is spinning your wheels, that hamster wheel. Maybe you find yourself wasting time on what's not really important, but somehow making it really important in your mind. Or have you ever been frustrated and noticed that there's no room for you in the middle of your career, in the middle of your parenthood, while you're working, you're making dinner, you're getting the kids to where they need to go. Oh my gosh, there's laundry and there's just no time for you. And you feel frustrated. I totally get it. Or how about my flavor, my favorite, contrasting emotion is overwhelm. Pop back into episode 0 and listen to how I created my life from this feeling from 2009 to 2016, literally 6 years of putting everything first. And the result of that way of being for me was total burnout. And this actually led to a book that Stephanie mentioned in episode 5 called Burnout. And it's a book by twin sisters, which is super awesome, Emily and Amelia Nagoski. And they describe the human giver syndrome. And this is when you achieve burnout. I love that phrase alone. You achieve burnout as if you're actually like aiming for it. And you achieve it because you are depleting yourself and giving away everything. You're giving away all your energy, all your time, and you are discharging so much energy versus recharging your own energy. And it leaves you burnt out. So I think if you saw yourself in any of these emotions, or maybe you actually felt it somewhere in your body as I was moving through and describing them, then this episode is going to be really important for you to pay attention and notice how you can use these steps in your life. Okay? So here is how to use contrasting emotions to figure out how you actually want to feel. So step 1, we just went through it. These are your contrasting emotions, how you don't want to feel. Where do you feel frustration in your body? Where do you feel overwhelm or burnout? For me, it's always in my throat chakra, which is that little nook in between your neck and your shoulders. This is the chakra that's really based around creativity and self-expression. That is my biggest lesson in life right there. So notice for yourself what contrasting feelings and emotions pop up for you the most. This is going to be your signal to move to step number 2, which is to notice what's missing in your life. I'm going to run through about 5 different contrasting emotions, and I'm going to share what's missing in your life. And I've pulled these ideas together from a handful of my mentors, Rich Litvin, who wrote a book called The Prosperous Coach, and also Tony Robbins mentions this in Awake the Giant Within. So if you notice that you have a lack of patience or you are bored, like Stephanie mentioned, she was, what's missing in your life is clarity, clarity around what you want. If you notice that you're feeling hurt or you're super angry all the time and you don't really know why, what's missing in your life is some type of unmet expectation. Maybe it's something, an idea you have in your head around how somebody should act or not act, and they're not meeting your expectations or exceeding your expectations. Well, fun fact, they may not even know what your expectations are, okay? So that's a place to look. So if you resonate with frustration, and that is a contrasting emotion that pops up for you a lot, notice that you could try shifting your approach. Maybe you're trying to do the same thing again and again and again, and it leaves you frustrated. Shift your approach. Tiny little shift in your approach might open up some more space for you. Disappointment. If you're feeling disappointment, take a look at your expectations and let's add in a little more patience. This is a great one for all of you moms and dads out there. And then overwhelm, my flavor of contrasting emotions. What was missing for me in my life was that my self-esteem, my self-worth was tied into what I was doing, not who I was being. So in the pure like fashion of overwhelm at its highest and best, I just kept doing more and doing more and doing more, which resulted in more overwhelm, overwhelm, overwhelm. You see how that works? Yeah. So notice what's missing in your life. And there are some ways that you could pinpoint what actually might be missing. And then that can move you into step 3. How do you want to feel instead? This is your opportunity to recognize things in life that bring you joy. little pops of joy, little moments of laughter, little moments that warm your heart so you can align with those feelings instead of contrasting feelings. And I want to invite you to create those opportunities on purpose. So, for example, notice that Stephanie felt like she was in a rut and she was bored. So she started practicing yoga. She didn't know what was on the other side of that for her, but she assumed it was going to be better than what she was experiencing. And that's true, right? You have to get into action to shift your perspective, right? The boredom, the frustration, a small shift in perspective, adding in an at home yoga practice enabled her to see what was on the other side, even being willing to not know what might be there for her. And fun fact, what was on the other side for her was obviously flexibility. Moving your body always feels amazing. And it led to a more flexible mindset. So it was a win win. So here are a couple fun ways that you can start to practice conjuring up and creating and recognizing how you want to feel instead. Because I know for all you cynics out there, oftentimes, right, you hear things like, well, just feel how you want to feel. You want to feel happy, then make yourself happy. And I know I'm right there with you. I roll my eyes as well, but we can make it fun. We can make it fun. And here's the thing. It's up to you to practice. That's it. All we're doing is practicing. And I always love to add in like a little bonus step on how you could start to practice these mindset tools today. So I'm going to share with you how I like to practice finding joy and fun and those little sparks of laughter and creativity. Because for me, those little sparks and those little moments add up over time. And that's how I can more easily and more quickly get into flow. So here's a fun one that you can actually play with your kids. So we drive around a lot. And I know moms and dads, you're right there with me. Or for people who have to commute, you are in the car a lot. And it gets a little boring, a little bit repetitive, going back and forth to swim lessons twice a week. So my kids and I like to find bright colored cars. And if they're in rainbow order, like even better. So this is a real fun way to distract yourself from the driving, and it keeps me and the kids alert on the outside world, right? So we're aware and we're always looking for the unicorn of cars. This is a pink car, right? So much joy comes when we find a pink car. Literally, I have to tell you, on the way home from swim practice last week, we not only saw a pink car and squealed with joy, then, like it must have been 3 or 4 minutes later, we saw a purple car, a full-on purple car. It was so funny. Okay, do pink cars and purple cars like make all the difference in the world? No. But we associated joy with it. It was something that we had to go find and explore. And this sort of mindset is really an opportunity to play with manifesting your reality. Okay. It's a small moment, but I'm getting it set into my kids' minds. You can think about seeing a pink car, and when it appears, there you go. You got that feeling you were craving. All right. Here's another small one. Same thing. You can manifest. Here's one that my kids and I have also done too. Catalina always likes to manifest birds, a certain color of bird. And Julian likes to manifest finding quarters and dimes and nickels on the ground, which is also really beneficial. So think about manifesting a bluebird. Your mindset is going to be aware of it, and it's going to look for opportunities to find that bluebird. That's the thing. You're going to start to look for opportunities to find the way you want to feel. Think about it, and you'll see it. And you'll become more self-aware of what you're looking for, the feeling that you want to manifest. On the opposite side of that, the contrasting feeling here is if you look for or expect things to go south, right? To wake up and think, oh my God, today is going to be awful. Undoubtedly, it will. So instead, look for and expect things to work out and plan for it because they typically do. And from this place, you can recognize what starts to make you feel good and what pops you into that higher level, higher vibration of freedom, agency, joy. You pick your word, right? So, in summary, here's the 3 steps I want you to take on this week. Step number 1, notice how you don't want to feel. Clearing out all the noise of those contrasting feelings. Step number 2, those contrasting feelings are a signal to notice what's missing in your life. Write it down. Notice what's missing. Is it your clarity? Is it unmet expectations? And then step number 3, create and manifest opportunities to practice joy, love, excitement, and lead with your heart. You got to take the time to create and find what it is you want to feel and then take radical responsibility to make that happen. So I love deep diving into these inner workings of the mindset. And this is kind of a behind the scenes peek at some of the tools that I share with my Be Bright Mastermind group. And if you remember, one of Stephanie's biggest takeaways was that the group and meeting consistently for 5 months, 3 times a month, created time for her. This is a gift to take time for you and to think about what type of life you want to create for you by design. That, my friend, is the primary focus of the mastermind. I want to share with you just a little bit about the mastermind because we're opening the doors really soon. It is an inclusive group of ambitious women who are craving new possibilities in their career and personal power in their life. The kind of power that's aligned with their highest self, feeling how you want to feel, taking that radical responsibility. So we start the summer fall mastermind on June 30th, 2021. And I'm really protective of the spirit of the group and of the women. And in the previous round of the mastermind, I only allowed 8 members to join us. And that could be you. If this is speaking to you, I want you to pop over to bebrightlisa.com/mastermind and learn more, or reach out to me directly on the Get in Touch page on my website at bebrightlisa.com. I'd love to hear from you, and join me next week because we are going to deep dive into the outer expression of some of the tools and techniques that Stephanie shared around leadership, entrepreneurship, and one of my favorite things to talk about, how to make intuitive decisions quickly. You don't want to miss it. I'll see you next week. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Find Your Clear Vision. I'd love to hear from you. Maybe something we talked about sparked an idea, or maybe you are ready to start your journey. If so, you can find me on the contact page of my website, bebrightlisa.com, or on Instagram at bebrightlisa. If you're feeling extra luminous, please rate and review Find Your Clear Vision on Apple Podcasts. I read all of the reviews and so appreciate the 5 bright stars. Remember, you, my friend, are a dazzling light and your clear vision is so needed. Until next time, be bright, Lisa.